Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another video for you, mainly on inflammation and when you shouldn't be consuming curcumin and other anti-inflammatories. I have a nice tea here. This is a nettle tea, so I'm always trying to, nettle and ashwagandha. I'm always trying to drink herbal teas throughout the day to help keep inflammation down and support the body. But there are times when you don't want to be having anti-inflammatories, and that's what I'm here to talk about today, as it is a question I get asked quite often. And I think a misconception that a lot of people have in regards to inflammation is that it's always bad and that we never want to be inflamed. And while that's mostly true, there are times when we don't want, when we want inflammation, when we don't want to suppress that reaction. So for example, and I've talked about this extensively before, so this is mostly for new followers who maybe haven't heard me speak of this before. But in regards to our immune system, we need our immune system to be inflamed at certain points. For example, when we get sick, when we get a cold or a flu, we want our immune system to create inflammation so that it can fight off viruses and pathogens and things like that. We also say we broke our leg or we got a cut or a scrape. We want our immune system to heal that wound or that bone. So in order for that to happen, we need inflammation. So inflammation isn't always bad. The issue is when it's chronic and destructive. So if you have like autoimmune and this inflammation is driving, destruction of self-tissue, that's when it's an issue. But overall, we always need our body to be inflamed when it's necessary, and we don't want to suppress an inflammatory process. So the biggest thing that I hear people say all the time is when they get sick, they take a ton of curcumin and things like that to stop inflammation. And that is wrong. And you shouldn't be doing any anti-inflammatories, not just curcumin, but boswellia or frankincense or anything else that you would consider to be anti-inflammatory when you are sick. And here is why. When you catch a virus or a bacteria and your body is trying to fight it off quickly and get rid of it quickly, it needs to create high levels of inflammation to kind of call all of the immune cells to come in and tackle this virus or pathogen that's in the body. And if it doesn't create this massive immune response, then this can't happen. So the virus can end up taking hold in the body and then causing issues long term. So when you're sick and you get big fevers or runny nose or headaches or any of the symptoms that you typically get, that's not from the virus. That's your body, your immune system creating all of these symptoms. It's a result of the inflammation because your body's trying to fight something. So it's a good sign. If you were to take, say, curcumin or some kind of anti-inflammatory, like high levels of even cod liver oil and things like that during this period of sickness, your body won't be able to mount a strong enough immune response, and you'll end up not fully fighting off this virus or pathogen. You either will be sick for much longer than you should be, or it'll cause serious side effects, or you will never fully eradicate it. So you might have a runny nose for months, things like that. If your body's very good and very efficient at fighting something off, you'll only be sick for a couple of days and then it'll stop. So you don't want to do anti-inflammatories all the time. And that's one of the areas or cases where you won't want to do curcumin in particular. The other thing that people don't know is they think that curcumin is good for everybody, and that's not necessarily the case. When you have an autoimmune disorder, you have an imbalance within the immune system. And I've talked about this also extensively on this channel, on Instagram, on the membership platform. So I don't want to go into too much detail in this specific video, but I will tell you that if you head to holisticspring.com, click the blog tab, and then in the search bar, search TH1. And then 2 articles should come up, and you should read both because it explains a little bit about our immune system and how it becomes out of balance when you have autoimmune and what that means for you. And that will help explain a little bit more about what I'm about to say. But essentially, when you have autoimmune, depending on the type of autoimmune, you're either going to be TH1 dominant or TH2. You might have a strong TH17 presence or dominant. So not every single person with autoimmune is always TH2 dominant. For example, if you have rheumatoid arthritis, you're probably TH1 dominant. So it really depends on the person and on the situation. And everyone thinks that curcumin is good across the board for any autoimmune, and that is false. Curcumin is not good for every single person with autoimmune because it actually can tip you towards TH2 dominance because it stimulates something called NF-kappa B, which I'm not going to go into here, but if you read those 2 blog posts, it'll explain a little bit more about what that means, and it'll give you a little bit more insight. Immunology is a massive topic, and I don't want to make this video half hour to an hour long. So just what you need to know is that curcumin can push you more towards Th2 dominance. If you are a Th2 dominant person, say psoriasis, usually with psoriasis, chronic eczema, certain things like that, you're more Th2 dominant, you don't want to be doing curcumin because it can push you more towards Th2 dominance unless you're working with a practitioner who is keeping everything in balance while you are on curcumin. So it's not good to take across the board anytime because it really depends on the person. And I think that educating yourself around a supplement before just supplementing with something that you think might help is so important, because you don't understand that there might be major immunological side effects, not very harmful side effects, but significant side effects to taking a supplement that might not be the right one for you. And I know a lot of people tend to think that natural supplements are completely safe and anyone can be on them, but that's not true. Herbs especially, you do have to be careful with because they can alter the way something happens in the body. So you just want to be very careful with that. So a couple, again, examples of when you don't want to take curcumin is when you are sick, or if you have a cold or a flu, something you're trying to heal. It could even be after a major Crohn's episode where you just had, your gut lining sloughed off and eliminated, and your body needs to heal that. You might not want to be on a curcumin as much because you don't want to be stopping all levels of inflammation, because inflammation is what heals, especially wounds, things like that. So if you're stopping that, you're not getting that process. And the other time when you don't want to take curcumin is when you have Th2 dominance, especially significant Th2 dominance, unless you are taking other herbs, and there are lots other herbs and things to keep things in balance so that you're not tipping yourself towards Th2 dominance while on the curcumin. So you would have to work with a practitioner for that. But I just wanted to make this video because I think that everyone thinks that as soon as they have an autoimmune, they need to shut all inflammation down instantly, no matter what. And while that's somewhat true, it's not completely true, especially when you do need some levels of inflammation. A couple things that might help you to reduce inflammation that might be a little bit more appropriate to take if you're not sure if you should be on curcumin would be a couple of, like L-glutamine, for example. Glutamine can really reduce inflammation in the colon. Don't take it if you have cancer, as it can feed cancer cells, but it is really anti-inflammatory, and that might be a thing to consider. So you might look into doing something like that. Marshmallow root is very soothing. It can help reduce inflammation mildly and pretty safely for almost everyone. Always check with a practitioner before using it, but that's a pretty, standard thing to do. You can drink it in tea form or take it in a capsule form. Aloe vera gel also, I love aloe so much. It has so many benefits. You can buy the whole leaf and consume it that way, or buy it in a supplement form, but it can be really, really beneficial for you as well. And then, in my opinion, the best thing that you can do, obviously, unless you have health conditions that prevent you from doing this, is fasting. Fasting helps with autophagy, which helps to clean out the debris and the old cells from the body, which means inflammation is being reduced and your body's rejuvenating and regenerating itself. So fasting is one of the best things you can do, and it doesn't involve putting anything into your body that might create more of an imbalance. So of course, if you have low blood sugar or other reasons where you shouldn't be fasting, you don't want to do that, but you can fast for 16 hours or longer, and it can give you so many benefits. So there are other ways to reduce inflammation if you're not sure if you should be on curcumin. But what I can tell you is that no matter what, never take any anti-inflammatories if you are sick, especially with this new virus that's out and all that. We all know which one we're talking about here. I know people are like, instantly we got to shut down inflammation, but that's the last thing you want to do. If you do have this virus, you do not want to shut down inflammation. You want to boost your immune system so that your body can help fight it off. So I hope that this video was helpful. Before I end it, I hope you guys stick around for a second just to hear this little blurb. If you are new to my page, or not new, you might have heard about this already, but I do have a membership platform, holisticspring.org. It's linked down below, where you can get access to so much exclusive information that is not shared anywhere else, that you can't find anywhere else, all about autoimmunity and holistic health. And it's a fantastic place to ask questions to me directly and get good in-depth answers from me directly, and also connect with other holistic, like-minded, individuals such as yourself. So I would love for you guys to check out my platform. Again, it's linked down below, holisticspring.org. I would love to have you join and just learn so much more information that, again, isn't shared anywhere else on any of these pages, but also just in the general holistic world. There's a lot of info that is pretty exclusive for you guys. So I hope that you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye.